Hello and welcome back to The Lion's Den, the only podcast that doesn't have an introductory theme. Don't quote me on that. Maybe I'll eventually get one. We're only 100 and something odd episodes in. Why would I need an introductory theme? I am the introductory theme. Anyway, I'm your host Matt as always, and today I've got a small rant but interesting thing to talk about, or at least I think it's interesting because I'm a very boring person. But yeah, let's talk about it. I always start these out in the weirdest way possible, but I don't know how else you start this. How do you do a cold opening like this, right? You just have to kind of launch into it. Something I've been trying to develop a little bit, as well as my intonation, just to make it slightly more interesting to listen to. So, my car, my actual current car that I bought midway through last year now, it's been a while, it got a recall for a part of the car. This is just a standard thing that manufacturers have to do. If there's any part of a car that seems to be failing or causing problems, they have to offer a free recall where they'll change the part for free and do everything for you like that. So my car is currently in the shop today. It's gone back. I took it down yesterday and picked up a courtesy car and dropped it off for its recall. They actually sent me about 20 minutes ago a video of a free health inspection because as part of the service, that's what they do. They just check standard things like your brake fluid, the tire tread depth, your brake depth, a couple other things, just to make sure that the car is in good working order and that you're not going to have problems later down the line. So that was funny because I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that so early this morning, but there you go. But yeah, the actual recall thing is for something called a vehicle pump valve, I think is what it is. Means nothing to me. I know nothing about cars particularly, but it should be okay. It should be getting done and be done by the end of the day. Obviously, because I don't live anywhere near the only service centre that I could go to, I asked for a courtesy car, which I've never had a courtesy car before. And you have to bear in mind that I've literally driven two other cars in my life. My first car and my second car. So this would be the third car I've ever driven in my life on my own. And I have to drive it in semi-rush hour traffic from the service centre back home. Oh boy. The first thing is, they said, so we've got this thing called a Fiat Tipo. Is that okay? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, is it a similar size to my current car? And the lady was like, oh, it's a little bit bigger. We proceed to walk out to said car. It's not a little bit bigger. It's a lot bit bigger. Oh my gosh, it's so much bigger. And I was sat there like, And the lady was like, are you okay? You gonna be alright driving it? And I said to her at that point, I was like, do you have anything smaller? And she was like, nope. So I was like, well, I guess I'm driving this then, because you haven't got any alternative. Got in the car, she just makes sure that I was okay, having a look around it, and then she let me get on my way. I hate it. I hate the car so much. It's really, so many things wrong with it. This is what today's episode is going to be about. It's just me talking about the fact that this car is the stupidest thing I've driven, and I've only driven 3 cars. It's not a high bar to clear, apparently. So first off, the actual size of the car isn't too much of an issue. I didn't seem to have too much problem driving and maneuvering it. I mean, I parked it on a drive, so that's one thing, and I drove it around some fairly busy roads without having any issue, so that was good. The second thing is, I do quite like the interior. The instrument cluster is quite nice. The steering wheel's alright. A little bit bulbous would be my description of the steering wheel, and we'll come back to that. And the sort of center console stuff is quite nice. All of the quick access things, like your air conditioning, your hazard lights, things that you want to be physical buttons are physical buttons, which is really nice. It has the stupid thing for the air conditioning like my car does, where you can turn the air conditioning on by rotating the speed dial, but you can't turn it off. You have to press a specific button that just turns it off, which I find stupid, but whatever. When I figured that out, it was okay. The infotainment thing is really nice. It's a touchscreen and it's got dials, and thankfully it connects to my phone through Android Auto, which was really nice because I needed navigation to get home. What I have discovered recently is that there's a dial on it that can be used to control the entire system. You don't have to touch the screen at all, which is really nice because I imagine once you get into the muscle memory of it, you can navigate around your Android Auto or just around the bog standard interface using this little wheel, and it's really satisfying, so that's cool. And I think that's about where the good stuff ends, to be honest. The rear visibility might as well not exist. The front visibility might as well not exist. It's like sitting in a cockpit. It's ridiculous. If I go down, because I'm an average height person, right? So if I pump the seat down just to give myself a little bit more headroom, I then can't see over the front of the bonnet. But if I crank it up so that I can see over the front of the bonnet, I'm then in the roof, which means I see less out of the front paradoxically. Nightmare. The wing mirrors are okay, but it took me a moment to figure out how to adjust them because it was weirdly hidden, and everything just feels really far, despite the fact that I'm sat not too far from the steering wheel. Everything just seems like a little bit out of arm's reach, which is bizarre. That was not great, trying to drive a car that you can't see out of, not fun. And I also accidentally turned on the windscreen wipers and then wasn't entirely sure how to turn them off because every car does the windscreen wipers differently. Why? Like, my last car was pulling the stalk and twisting the stalk. My current car is tilting the stalk and twisting the stalk. That car was double twisting the stalk. Why is it always different? It's so confusing. The worst part is actually driving the car, actually manipulating the vehicle with the pedals and all of the controls. The steering is ridiculously light. It's mildly terrifying because you can just use your pinky finger and it will turn, which is very scary to me. I'm used to having to actually turn a car a little bit more. Pedals are okay, but because of the heights of all the pedals, I kept tripping over them, and the braking was weird. The brake pedal is scarily high, so like trying to move between the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal, not fun. And also because of where my feet were positioned, trying to press the accelerator pedal with some sort of control was really awkward as well. Not a fun time. The gear shifter, because we drive manuals in the UK. Oh, supremacy of manuals. No, I'm kidding. The gear stick is terrible. It's this huge bulbous 8-ball looking thing, and Lord knows what gear you're trying to select because it's so ambiguous. There's no significant notching to tell you what gear you've put it in. And even the car with the digital display saying this is the gear you're in, I'm sat there like, is it? I have no idea. I'm mildly concerned that I'm going to be putting this in 5th instead of 3rd. Are we in 1st to take off? I don't know. Wasn't exactly confidence inspiring. I didn't stall it, amazingly, and it went into reverse when I came home to park it on the drive, so that was alright, but I was just sat there like, am I in 1st? Am I in 3rd? Where's 4th? Is this 2nd? It might be 2nd. I haven't got a clue. Go, please. So yeah, that was really annoying. And then the really stupid design is that the handbrake, it has a manual handbrake, was underneath the central armrest between the front two seats. Whoever thought that was a good idea to put the central armrest over the handbrake needs to be fired because that is the stupidest design going. I had to kind of like finesse my hand around to try and grab the handbrake. And the thing is, handbrakes require a good bit of grip strength and force to pull on them because you're applying a huge brake to a massive vehicle to stop it from moving. And you're telling me I have to finesse my hand to try and grab it? Who designed that? Incredibly stupid. Thankfully, I didn't dare try it, but I do believe the car has hill start assist, which is a wonderful thing. I love whoever invented hill start assist because it just makes driving that a little bit easier, but I didn't trust the car enough, so I was just very cautious whenever I was on slight inclines. What my mum figured out, funnily enough, because obviously they came out to have a look at the car, why not? It's a rental car, you're never going to see this car again, and it doesn't matter that it's not yours, she can have a look around. She figured out that the actual center console armrest thing slides, so you can slide it back, which provides significantly more leverage for the handbrake, so that's really nice. It's stupid though, because now the hand armrest is super far back and is almost useless, but at least it solves the driving issue. That's all I can say. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird because apparently it's a 1 litre. It didn't drive like a 1 litre. Maybe I'm just not used to a 1 litre with the amount of power it's supposed to have. Because my first car was a 1.2, I think. But obviously it was very old, so it lost a lot of its power. But it's no slouch. Like, low end speed isn't great, but once you're in a gear and up into the rev range, it will go, which isn't bad. So can't complain too much on that side, other than the fact that, like I said, I can't see where the hell I'm driving. But I drove it, so it's all good. I think if I had to sort of say, I think it's a decent enough car and you'd get used to it, but it's just not for me because it's weird. Oh, right. The really weird thing that I've never seen in any car before in my life. On my personal car, there are buttons on the steering wheel that allow you to control the infotainment system. So you can skip tracks, you can change the volume, you can mute, you can pause, you can do all of that stuff. This car also has said buttons, but they're on the back of the steering wheel, randomly. You have to reach around with your fingers to around the back of the steering wheel. and there are these two rockers and buttons that control on one side the play, pause, skipping tracks, and on the other side control your volume. And that's very weird and confusing, and I don't like it because I want to be able to see what I'm pressing, not have to feel what I'm pressing. So anyway, it's a fine car, but it's certainly not for me. I'll be glad that I'm getting rid of it, hopefully by the end of today. That was my plan, is that I went to the gym on Monday with my car, so I didn't go to the gym yesterday in that car, and today I'm working from home. So I literally only had to drive it from the service centre back home yesterday, and from home to the service centre today. Fingers crossed. If I have to have this car any longer, I'm going to be upset. Anyway, that's the joys of owning rental cars, I suppose. I wonder if any of you have ever had to drive rental cars. Everyone I've shown it to is like, oh, that looks really nice. And I'm sat there like, I hate it. Which is funny, so... Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed listening. Stay safe. I'm going to be knee deep in Tears of the Kingdom this Friday, which I'm super excited for. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Bye!